discuss tonight. Once again, my name is Angela Gibson, in case you don't know that. I'm the founder of Eve Speaks. I'm a mom, a wife, an entrepreneur, and because I needed to grow and continue to grow, I founded the Eve Speaks platform. And Genevieve is going to go ahead and share some about herself. Go ahead, Genevieve.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. I am Genevieve Canham, one of the coaches of the EV Speak platform, and I'm a Maxwell coach, a consultant in the Maxwell DISC method. And we're going to talk tonight about all the treasures that we have in this tool, this very impactful tool for our career, especially tonight. Yeah.
And speaking of careers, a lot of people this is an area in life that's, of course, very important and makes it significant. And so, learning how to navigate the personalities within our various spheres of influence or the areas that we find ourselves in, those ships that we find ourselves on in careers, and all kinds of relationships with co-workers, bosses, subordinates, superiors, I saw a quote, or heard a lady say the other day on I think it was on TikTok. She said, whether it's relationship, friendship, uh, whatever ship you find yourself on, if it's not taking you anywhere, you should get off, because ships are supposed to take you somewhere. And I thought that was really good, because that's the whole idea behind why we are so deliberate about growth. Because the relationships that we form, whether it's in our careers or in our marriages or friendships, they're supposed to be able to take us somewhere. And sometimes we get stuck, thrown off course, because we don't have the spiritual technology, the emotional intelligence, and we're just not informed. Our understanding is darkened, as the scripture says, and we perish for lack of knowledge. The scripture says it. My people perish, God said it, because of a lack of knowledge. And so we are being deliberate about bringing the knowledge to you so that your understanding can be informed, so you can sustain the intelligence to heal, aspire, and grow. That's what it's about. Am I right, Genevieve? That's what it's about. Yes?
Yes, exactly.
So this idea of, the Symphony of Personalities is very much like, we're going to do a little recap. So I'm going to allow Genevieve to do a little recap, and then we'll continue the conversation from there. And if you're joining for the first time, Jay, I'm not able to see who has joined us so far. For some reason over here, are you able to help us to tell who's joined?
We have
I
here Patricia and Rhonda.
I can't see, but hi, thank you for joining. Please be interactive. Please share your thoughts. Please ask questions, because this sounds a little bit, it's not a common conversation to be talking about how to navigate personalities. We usually meet somebody and go, oh, she's not my type, or he's not my type. And we dismiss that. And we don't try to educate ourselves about what we could learn in order to get the best outcome from the relationships that we find ourselves in. So it's a very worthy conversation. So Genevieve, go ahead with your recap.
Yeah, so we started during our last session talking about the Symphony of Personality. So as you can uh, imagine, what is a symphony? It's talk about music, an elaborate musical composition of a full orchestra, and it requires the collaboration of all the musicians to give this symphony, because the opposite of symphony is a cacophony. So it is when everybody is playing his own partition. And
Let's
for
say
sure,
that word slowly. Let's say that word. The opposite of symphony is what?
cacophony.
I can't even say it. Cacophony?
Yeah, cacophony. Cacophony is really a kind of very disagreeable sound that's occurred where somewhere where everybody is making their own sound without any
Con-
coordination.
Confusion, in other words.
Exactly. Confusion and chaos,
Yes, chaos
right?
and confusion. Uh-huh.
Exactly. And then the symphony is when everything is elaborated, cooperated, and is in harmony to give this sound that, people pay sometimes thousands of dollars ticket just to go and listen to a symphony. It's a very elaborate musical composition. So we choose this name because we truly believe that this is how we're supposed to live.
Yeah.
Everybody has to play their own partition because, as we can see it in the image, we have different musicians, we have different instruments, and maybe Angela may prefer guitar, I may prefer piano, but together we will for sure give a better sound if we coordinate our partition. This is exactly what the symphony is about. So the symphony of personality is exactly when we learn how to collaborate, how to put our different personality type in harmony to have better relationships, better communications, and yes, in it a better
A better
group
rhythm,
life, exactly, a better rhythm. You're right.
rhythm to our lives. Because I have seen and I've experienced myself the impact and the effect of relationships, whether it's in our career or parenting. By the way, I have a story to tell about my parenting. My daughter recently told my husband, "Don't run my life." She's 10 years old, and she told my husband not to run her life because she wants to go to a specific kind of school. And he's like, "No, you're going to go to an all girls school." And she wants to go to co-ed school with the boys and all this stuff. And this little girl threw a fit. And my husband is like, "This child is 10. You just spit her out the other day, and she's telling me not to run her life." But already we are seeing her personality. Like there's a
Exactly.
trait
Yeah.
there, very strong, very independent, very self. I don't know what you want to call that, aggrandizement. She kind of aggrandizes
Mhm.
herself on what she thinks at 10 years old. And we have to figure out how do we effectively manage her personality without squashing her spirit,
Mhm.
because below that, beyond that, there is something there that is very useful that God created her with.
Yeah.
And it's for us as parents to help her to navigate that. So, yeah, understanding the personality and how to not compare her to her brother, because her brother is very mild mannered, is definitely something that we are learning in this period of our lives in terms of parenting, because it definitely is taking uh, an intentionality that we didn't anticipate. And because I'm getting educated about personalities and the importance of being aware, that that's really key, the awareness of it, the awareness factor. In Jamaica, my mother would just slap me into the corner, go sit down somewhere. What are you talking about?
Exactly.
I wouldn't even bring that up to my mother. That wouldn't even be a thought to say, "Don't run my life." What? We don't talk like that as children growing up in Jamaica. So, yeah, learning the different personalities is definitely key. I forgot the point I was trying to make before I thought about the story with my daughter, but you can put me back on track if I fall away again.
Yeah. This is true. This is true. We need to know even our children. That's why the disc can be a very important tool. It's used to be used only in corporate with professional, but actually the family counselors and the couples counselors and coaches saw the relevance of this tool and start using it to help families know better each other and develop a better communication in family. Yeah.
Yeah, so based on her personality, we're going to try to steer her towards sales, something in leadership,
Mm-hmm.
because that's part of her role to kind of assess, okay, what career would be, in line with the personality that she has. We can't tell her what career to choose, of course, but we have to think about careers, her relationships, the kind of
Mhm.
friendships that we, environment that we put her in. Like, it affects so many different areas. But since
Yeah.
tonight the focus is going to be career, we have certainly been thinking about, okay, what I run a business. And I'm thinking we should have her take over the business because of the way she carries herself, and she's very outspoken, and so it's just so, it's amazing how when you're learning something and you're able to weave it into your current
Mhm.
experience, how
Mhm.
rich it gets because you're able to apply what you're learning. Actually, show another slide, right?
Yeah.
Next thing that we want to talk about is the fact that if we don't design our life plan, chances are we'll fall into somebody else's plan. And guess what? They have planned for you? Not much.
Mm.
What do you want to say about that, Genevieve?
Well, it's call to action, I think, for every one of us. It's a call to action. Like it's just like when you read something like that, you realize that nobody can design the life you want because nobody better than you can know what you really want. And as John Maxwell said, sometimes people don't design the life they want, not because they don't want it, but just because they don't know their worth.
They
And
don't.
as he said, yes, you must start seeing the value in yourself so that you
Mm,
may be able to, maybe enough bold to uh, design something for you and say, yes, I deserve this and I want to design my life just like, it's different. Like the new generation, just like your daughter, they learn very early, they can discover their worth in many things they
mm,
have. But some other, when you are sometimes an adult and you have some other priorities and sometimes some constraints, you will like maybe will be resigned in a job and said, all right, if I have a salary and yes, I'm looking for security and I don't want to think about something else. But what about your fulfillment? Are you happy with the life you have? So
mm.
if you let it like this, some other people will design and give you just a way to follow. And
Exactly.
you need to see the value in yourself so that you may dare design something for your future. If not, some other people will do it for you. And guess what? They don't have much for you, just like the quote said. Yeah.
And that, really resonates with me what you're saying, because that's the reason why I wrote, that's one of the reasons, not the only reason why I wrote this book called Peace
Yeah.
Be Reclaim Your Promise of Peace and Profit from Anxiety's Grip Through Prayer. Please pick it up on Amazon. It's a very short read, but the reason why I wrote it was, one of the reasons why I wrote it was because, or I should say, one of the stories that I mentioned in there is how I was working in IT for different companies and never saw myself. Didn't think I had the personality to run a business. Didn't think I had what it took to run a business. But my then boyfriend, when we met, he was like, "You can be doing this by yourself. You don't need to work for people. You have the talent." And I would constantly say, "No, I wasn't. I just like people, but I don't have what it takes. I'm not technical. I can't." I did this for like a few years before, one day my boss, I asked him for a raise and he said, "Angela, if you're in India, I'd pay you $30,000 a year and send you home as a cold caller." In other words, he was saying, "You're not worth a raise. You're not worth being a partner," even though I was the only salesperson there bringing in the business. So I understand what Jim Ron is saying, because that day I quit. When he said that,
Hmm.
I was like, "Man, this guy, I gotta get out of here." I just looked at his face. Honestly, I looked at his face and I go, "I cannot stand looking at this man's face no more." That's the truth. That's really what happened. I just looked at his face. He just looked greedy to me, and I was like, "I'm bringing him all this business, and he's gonna tell me this?" But if I had stayed there, it makes me think, what would I be doing now? I would have forfeited this opportunity that I have now to run an IT company and employ other people and give and make and be a blessing to other people.
Mhm.
But the only reason I was able to do that is because somebody else saw in me what I didn't see in myself.
Exactly.
He saw my
Exactly.
personality. That was part of it. He saw my personality. That was part of it. And he just said, you don't need to be working for anybody. And I'm so grateful now because had it just been left to me, I would not have done it on my own because I was too
Yeah.
intimidated, too afraid, too insecure,
Yeah.
just didn't see the value in myself.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
And this is true. And maybe in your case, you may say maybe it was I was experiencing anxiety, but some people don't experience the same anxiety, but they just don't see the value in themselves. And I like the uh, that's in the chapter called the transformed, and I like the name of the chapter. You said in the chapter a quote from Les Brown. He said, "You can't see your picture when you're in the frame."
wow,
And
that's
just
a
after you said, "He saw me," actually, it is that's the part of the chapter I underline. You said, "Beyond the dark circles under my eyes, Brian saw my promise."
I see it here on page 17. Les Brown, one of my favorite motivational speakers, once said, "You can't see your picture when you're in the frame."
Mm-hmm.
Saw me beyond the dark circles under my eyes. Brian saw my promise.
Exactly. You
Oh,
see? So this is exactly what you said. Someone need to see, and sometimes it's not easy to see, things inside of you. Sometimes even when we can guess that some potential ironers will not sometimes enough attentive, or we don't give ourselves enough credit to take the time to, you know, if I can say, uh, expose this potential to other thing or to try something, and we need someone to see this potential in us, to encourage us to talk about it, to
right.
put words on it. And
Mm,
this is exactly what we can have with this tool, because not everyone has a Brian effect in their life. So as I, as I say, well, I guess he was impressed by your eyes, and so he had this supervision, and but if you don't have a brand that can sow your promise, you have the disc assessment that can really talk about your strength and just what they see, and you will be amazed and impressed on how this tool can, yes, can just reveal the amazing you.
exactly. And the DISC assessment, let's talk about what that is. The DISC assessment essentially is how we help you to uncover or discover the strengths and the beautiful
Yeah,
that is inherent in the personality type that you have.
e-
And it's so important that we grasp that because some of us will think that personality is not that good and that this is a better personality, but all our personalities are good. And so we're
mhm.
going to strive tonight to bring out the symphony in the understanding of personalities. So
Yeah,
Genevieve, go through the different types of or the packages of the personality or components.
yeah, we have a slide that shows it.
What page? I'm not sure what slide that is. Is it
Yeah,
this one?
exactly.
Okay.
So, yeah, so we have the Maxwell Disco report, the classic one, that will help you discover your style, your profile. and discover your communication style, your strength, and your power disc, that the seven area of your leadership personality, and your growth area, your strength in communication, your preferred style of communication. And we have the Maxwell disc career. This one is a little bit more um, detailed, because in this career, you will have the part that will talk about your communication style, but you will also have this part that will help you discover your value style, each of the value that are important for you, the that you use in your professional values, like which the one that help shape your decision and drive your action in your professional life. And then you have also another part that will help you discover your learning and your thinking style, you see, because everyone has their own way of thinking and um, processing information. Like, so you can also discover your strength and the best career that are related to your personal strength, and then you have your growth action plan and all these other things that you find in the disc career. By the way, the Maxwell disc report is a 30-page report, while the disc career is a 45-page report.
It's very intensive, it sounds, and
Yes, very intense.
that's very important because the career affects so much. It affects our mental health, our
Mm,
emotional health, our
mm,
financial health, our relational health, and so we don't want. I think a lot of times we select careers just by happenstance, or we
mm-hmm,
think
mm-hmm.
only because it pays well, or that's what my mother or my father told me to do. But if we understand, or we can
Exactly.
prepare our children to know or understand their own personalities, they would be better prepared to select careers that aligns
Mm,
with their gifting.
exactly.
And it's
Aligned
not
with
just
their
and it's
gifting.
not just about making money, but it's
Mm,
about fulfillment. And
fulfillment.
I heard someone say today that, you know, with your gifting, if it's not aligned with purpose, we become very unfulfilled and we waste our destiny. And I'm thinking, when you apply or consider the role that personality, knowing your personality could play with that, or in that, it would catapult us to the level that we want to get to bring about the sense of purpose that we want. And so I think it's important that we talk so much more with the people that we know, and especially our children, about how to navigate their personality so they can
Yeah.
select the right career.
Mm, mm. It's about fulfillment, and it's about also making a difference,
Mm,
in your life, in someone else's life. And it's about also living your why. Everyone has God has created us with different purpose, and it's just like when you are like a knife and you never cut anything. Well, you'll no longer be a knife. Like, you will never make a difference at some point. And it is exactly. And we spend like maybe 12 or 15 years in school, but how about our career? The whole time of our life, a very big part of our life, of our energy, is generally used in our career. Imagine when you put all this time and energy in something you don't love, you don't like, something that is not your your gift. You will not make a difference. You will just exist, while actually you should live. And maybe you know.
that's really important. I heard there's saying that a lot of heart attacks happening on Monday mornings, or maybe the
Oh,
night before, when people think they have to go to work.
Really?
Yes, people think they have to go to work or they're under. That's when a lot of times the heart attacks happen. Why? Because people are not fulfilled. They're not looking forward to it. There's no joy.
Mm,
And a lot
yeah.
of that is because we don't think about it because we don't make the connections and therefore we don't have the awareness.
Mm,
So we don't realize that they're all connected. Not knowing my gift, which is not connected to a purpose that
mm,
gives me fulfillment because I don't know my personality that would have informed me to choose the career that aligns with my gift that would feed my purpose. If all
mm,
of those different connections are missing, we jeopardize a fulfilling life and destiny.
yeah.
I'm still on the journey. I haven't arrived either. I'm still like, God, I want to find everything that you've put in me. I want to discover it so that I can make sure I die empty. I don't want to be
Mm,
dying with stuff that I'm supposed to have used, but because I didn't subscribe to growth and development, I hijack my
mm,
promise, my potential, and my possibility.
yeah.
This is
Yeah.
how serious this conversation is. It's really a worthy, worthwhile conversation to have.
Yeah. I would love to have many managers and especially resources managers to hear this conversation because I think that um, as a human resources leader, your your success will be when you have um, people in your team that are happy to come, to work the Monday money, right?
Yeah,
And it is also a very game changer tool for corporate because we all know that when something is your passion, you can work for it for free. You can work for it without counting the time. When you work in an area where you use your strength, you feel
hmm,
fulfilled and empowered. While when you want to judge a fish at his capacity of climbing, you will have a frustrated fish because actually you will say that, oh, he's low, he's not efficient, while actually you're trying to judge him on his capacity of climbing when he is a fish, right? And
fish don't climb.
exactly.
I get it. I get it. Actually, on my own team, I have a team of employees, and I actually have weekly accountability meetings, and I ask them, how do you feel about your work? What's your morale? Because if consistently their morale is low, I will tell them this may not be the job for you. You don't want to waste your life. This is a real
Mm,
conversation. And yeah, they may leave, but that's the risk I take because I just feel like I have a responsibility to make sure that people really are healing, aspiring, and growing. And it's not for me, it's not just about making money in my IT business. And so having this conversation about growth and development, it's a thread throughout my company to make
yeah.
sure that it's woven into every conversation, every report, every KPI, because every metric,
Mm,
um, because I just know that when I get up in the morning, I look forward to coming down and sitting on my desk, and I'm like, God, so thank you. I don't have to go to work. Thank you that I'm doing something I like. Not that I don't get tired, because sometimes I'm frustrated, but I'm fulfilled.
mm,
So it's just so important, such an important conversation.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
tell us about the disc entrepreneur. Tell me about that one. Maybe I should take this one.
The disc entrepreneur is an assessment to help entrepreneur discover. I will give you, for example, the specific points. So the communication style, recognize other style too, the motivators of your what motivates you in your business and what motivates others too. So your ideal environment, your personal growth area, your strength, the sailing strength, selling challenges, motivating individual sales representative, like techniques on your style and how you should motivate your team,
Uh-huh.
and the buying style strategies. So it is actually the most expensive report because it's really give insight that make a difference in businesses.
And I would imagine that this entrepreneur assessment would help you to determine if you really have what it takes to be an entrepreneur. Would-
Exactly.
So a lot of people, I meet so many people nowadays. I just want to have my own business. I want to have my own business. Everybody wants to
Mhm.
have a business, but
Yeah.
they don't know what it takes to have a business. It,
Mm-mm.
yeah, it's very fulfilling if you're doing it what you love to do and you're good at it, but there's so much to learn. There's so many pitfalls. There's so much frustration, and there's so much growth that can happen. The opportunity for growth is incredible, but not knowing your personality and then deciding I just want to be an entrepreneur can really set you up to self-sabotage.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. So we have the sales profile, the sales report, and the sales leader that
Mhm.
will assess the same things. But the sales profile, for example, you will see your selling strength and your selling challenges, while the sales leader will assess the same point, but in a different perspective as the entrepreneur report.
Ah, got it.
Yeah. And then we have the student success for teenagers from 10 to 15. And this one is really an important tools for parenting, like with teenagers, just like, I mean, discovering your child personality profile is already something that make, you know, a difference because it helps you know better those kids. And, you can know how to navigate better their personality. Like when you have a very strong-willed child, and just like you say with your daughter, but not only discovering their strength, but you will also see uh, like you will have a guide for the parents to bring out the best of their personality sides, like that. Like you will have some tips and some uh, guidance in this report. You will also have in this report communication improvement tips between you and your child, and you will have also other information that can help the students' teachers to help them understand better your child and help them, you know, the best they can.
And that's really key right there because my son, his personality, should I say his disposition, changed so much in the school he was going to because I didn't have this awareness about the personality styles, and I
Mhm.
think they damaged my son. So he was such an outgoing and gregarious kid, and something happened in school where the teacher, the way she dealt with him, put him into a shell. And I didn't discover this until afterwards. He became a recluse in a sense, because
Mm,
and only later on did I realize, did he tell us how she was treating him. But if had I known that, I could have informed her about how to. Not that that is an excuse, of course. She should have known not to be the way she was. But had I been more aware, I could have prepared her or informed her that this is my son's disposition and this is how you deal with him based on what I know of him and because I understand personalities. Because she probably was ignorant herself, because I'm assuming that she's a teacher, she should know better. But
mm,
I think sometimes just operating from a lack of awareness, we do and say stuff that cause a lot of damage. Whereas if we're educated and informed, we would sustain the intelligence to not conduct ourselves in certain ways.
Mm.
So it definitely would have. I mean, he's a great student now. He left that school and he's in another school. He's doing really well, but it definitely impacted him. And
Yeah,
so we're investing in counseling services just to get him to become more, to come back out the way he was
yeah,
before. It's that version of him. But that experience with that in that school was not good. So we definitely want to set up our children for success by knowing their personality so we can inform, we can be their advocate because they're too young to
exactly.
advocate for themselves.
Yep,
I mean,
yep.
this
You're
stuff
right.
goes deep. Stuff goes deep.
Yep,
They need an advocate. So,
yeah, yeah. And the last report is the group report. So this group report is to help you manage better your team, know your team strength, manage better your teams, and to know the dynamics of your team under pressure, and the collective strength of your team, so that you can, it's like it's an eye opener to help you know
mm,
better how your team works, what are their strengths, and how they manage challenge, how your team behave under pressure, and how to handle this, to um, to navigate changes and project. And yeah,
how to position them. I'm
exactly.
realizing just from running a team the importance of me knowing how to, who to put where and with whom.
Yep,
Game changer.
exactly. Yeah, this is exactly what the group report does. Actually, when you have the group report, all the member of the team will have their own Maxwell Disco report assessment, the classic one. And then when you put all the assessment together, the 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 group report will make a combination of all these individual reports, and give you the style of the group,
Mm.
the style of the team, and gives you all the tips and the tools to help you manage better the team and help them grow. Yeah.
So that's a rundown of the different components of the DISC assessment that we offer. We want to encourage you, whether you're going to listen to the replay or here now, to definitely reach out to the eSpeaks team so that you can have your own assessment scheduled. Because as you can see, the gems that you'll get from learning how to navigate your personality and the impact that it can
Mm,
have on you, your family, your workplace, your children, your churchship,
mm,
relationship, all the ships. It's incredible. But what
yeah,
the thread I hear going through this whole conversation is really thinking well. It
yeah,
sounds like knowing your personality will help you to think well, or thinking well will help you to know your personality. I'm not sure which one goes first, but I know the platform is very much focused on the importance of thinking for a change. And
yeah,
when we're so used to the way we've been, we often don't see the need to take on this journey of learning our personalities because we're just like, this is the way I've been, this is who I am.
mm,
A lot of times it's not working for us, but we're like, oh, that's the way I am.
mm,
You're stuck though. But you're stuck though. But you haven't grown in a million years though.
mm,
But you wanna make more money though, right? You
mm.
want a better relationship, yeah. But
Yep.
you're the tools.
Yeah,
Oh,
on the slide 10, we have a couple of quote that can help us reflect on what we are talking about tonight. And the one is Stephen Furtick say that your perspective will either become your prison or your passport.
woo.
How you see things will definitely help you move forward or stay in, like you said in your book, stuck down, actually,
I,
right?
I create that
And
word, stuck them.
yeah, exactly. So, and it's the opposite of freedom. So, yeah, I think that you should think about write your second book as reclaim your freedom, based on what we're talking about, because it actually now a question of freedom, because after
Okay.
healing,
Yes.
you have to aspire,
Uh-huh.
right? And when you heal and you just stay like this,
Mm,
for me, there is no sense,
mm,
because Jesus, for example, come on earth to heal us, to redeem us, so that we can become, son of God,
mm.
so that we
Lovely.
can become sons. So when you heal, God heals us because He wants us to aspire and to grow. And when
Mm.
you don't grow, your destiny will be the fig tree destiny.
Victory. No
Yeah,
fruit. Mm.
exactly. Because God wants us to grow. And
He doesn't
so,
just want us to grow. He wants us to multiply. I saw this girl
exactly.
on
You
IG.
see?
She was like,
Yes, to
he
bear
wants us
fruit.
to
No?
multiply. Multiplication.
Exactly. He wants us to bear fruit. So sometimes, we need to know that we the goal is not just to heal. That's the first step. But the
Mm.
goal is to grow and to bear fruit, you know.
Right.
Classic psychology, traditional psychology focus on healing, right? But more and more, the modern side of psychology, which is the positive psychology, uh, don't focus only on healing, but it's focused also on inspiring. And this is what has created what they call now the solution brief, the solution brief coaching that help people not only heal but also aspire. Because it's only when you start aspiring that you become coachable, that people
Mm.
can help you achieve a goal, right?
Mm.
And this is a way of helping you change your perspective.
Right.
And our perspective is everything. Some people used to say that, I think that I know myself very good. Yes, and it can be true. You can know yourself enough. But when you know something and someone else come confirm it, that will give you another perspective.
Exactly.
That will
Or
give you
sometimes you
another
think you know
perspective.
yourself, and what you know is a dysfunction
Exactly.
that you lived with. Kind of like how I was like, no, I'm really not a business owner. No, I can't. I thought
Yeah,
that was myself, that I knew myself, that no, I can't run a company.
exactly. You
But it
see?
was actually wrong, very wrong.
Exactly. It was wrong.
It
And
was so
even though you
wrong.
knew exactly, you knew that you were the one who was bringing the business. You had been sometimes frustrated because of your ex-boss behavior, but you never you the fact that Brian, confirm you that you have this potential, it's encourage you in some way. That's why John Maxwell say that you must see value in yourself to add value to yourself. And
Woo.
sometimes you need a mirror. This is the law of mirror. You need a mirror to see that you okay,
And
you
that
know?
comes in the form, in my case, in the form of my husband. And in anybody else's case, could be a friend, it could be your mother, your father, it could be anybody. But you need
Mm,
that mirror. Because sometimes
exactly.
who we think we are is not really who we think. It's a lie from Satan that tells
That
us we're something that we're not. Now let's
that's the
talk about
law of
Satan.
the mirror.
Let's
Yep.
talk about Satan for a minute, because he'll tell you all kind of nonsense about yourself that is not
Yep.
true. Um,
Yep.
so yeah, the law of the mirror, and what better mirror sometimes, really all the time, but to look at the Word of God and to see what God thinks about us. That
Exactly.
is that is like the ultimate mirror. These are just tools to help you to navigate
Mm,
the journey, but the ultimate mirror really has been the Word of God and continues to be.
exactly.
But yeah, as I was saying, the thinking is so important, because the the way we think is really what's going to give us the perspective that we need, so that
Mhm.
we're not imprisoned,
Yep.
but we get that passport. I like. You try. I mean, I've heard of passports where you can have a, well, that's citizenship, dual
Hmm.
citizenship. It's nothing like
Yep.
having. I've been hearing about these passport bros now. It's a whole nother story, of course.
Yeah. You need a passport to go, anywhere you want. You need
They
that
these
passport.
guys are getting passports to leave the country to find women in other countries because they just feel like they have the freedom and the world is, at their fingertips. Women just gonna fall all over them as long as they have the passport to leave
Yeah.
America and go find the woman of their dreams. Some of them are delusional, but it's a whole nother story. But the point is to have the passport, the thinking that will give you the passport to grow. I love that quote by Stephen Furtick.
Yeah. And
Ah,
perspective is actually, our spirit. Like when we are here in a webinar, right? But if we close our eyes, we can see our houses, we can see the last place we visited. How can we go in that place? By our spirit,
mm,
you see? And this is why it is important. And the perspective is the same thing. It's the vision, it's the spirit, it's the capacity to go beyond where you are now.
where are we gonna go next, Genevieve? Close your eyes. Where are we gonna go next?
In Senegal.
You're going to Senegal. Rhonda, where are you going next? Patricia, where are we going next? We're gonna
Yeah,
go.
you
Take us
see?
there, Lord. Take us
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
When I wrote this book, my perspective was I wanted to heal. Healing was important to me to get past the constant anxiety so
Mm,
I could live beyond the splinter. And once I took on the healing journey, you're right, I was able to aspire. My perspective definitely changed. And I didn't see it at the time when it was happening. It was only after the fact when I was engaged in reflective thinking that I realized that, yeah, I needed to be on a healing journey. And that, because I was on a healing journey, it afforded me the opportunity to aspire because my eyes opened up. The cloud melted away, and then the growth set in. And so I was willing to start a business and continue to grow, and I'm still growing and
mm,
hire people and help people because my perspective had changed, my thinking had changed, and I believed what my husband said. He saw something in me that I didn't see in myself. So
mm.
yeah, it's so important to dance, this dance of life. You really have to be a willing participant.
Yeah,
No sideline business. So you
that's
can.
important. Our perspective is important. When Jesus was announcing the kingdom,
Mm,
when he saw the Samaritan woman at the wheel, he said to his disciple, "Look, what do you see? The field are already ready." You see,
mm,
he was helping his disciple to have a perspective of the harvest. It's
right.
just like when God said to Abraham, "Look at the skies and the stars. What do you see?" And then he said, "Look at the seas and the horizon. What do you see?" So he was enlarging his perspective.
Enlarging your perspective. That's a good one. We
Yeah.
need things in our lives that will help us to enlarge our perspective. John Maxwell says here in his book, a visionary company is like a great work of art. I think of a perspective like that, like a great work of art. He says, think of
Mm.
Michelangelo's scenes from Genesis on the ceiling of the Sistine Chapel or a statue of David. Think of a great and enduring novel like Huckleberry Finn or Crime and Punishment. Think of Beethoven's Ninth Symphony or Shakespeare Henry V. Think of a beautifully designed building like the masterpiece of Frank Lloyd Wright or Ludwig Mies van der Rohe. You can't point to any one single item that makes the whole thing work. It's the entire work, all the pieces working together to create an overall effect. that leads to enduring greatness. That's a
Mm.
symphony of personalities in a nutshell. All the pieces working together, all the growth
Exactly.
components working together will give you a symphony as well.
Mm,
Uh,
mm.
it's really amazing how all of this all just kind of ties into each other. I love it.
Yep.
It's because the whole point is that great thinking is very much like the symphony as well. I love the growth journey. It's so rich and delicious.
Yes.
Conversation just never gets tired. So I just want to say thank you to anybody, everyone, and if you have any questions about how to get involved with the platform and especially taking one of these assessments, definitely reach out www.evespeaks.com and we will certainly get you started on your own discovery. Because that's what it is, right? It's discovery.
Yep.
The next best version of you. A superior version of you. I love that. Superior.
Exactly.
So thank you so much for joining us tonight. It's 9:56. Do you have any last words, Genevieve?
Well, we would be very happy to help each one of you discover the amazing you and help you and be your partner in your growth journey. Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for joining. You me sending questions if anything pops in your head after you get off this call. And we will catch you next time as we continue this discussion about the Symphony of Personalities. Have a good night. Thank you. Good night,
Thank you.
Genevieve.
Bye
Good
bye.
night.
Good night.